Speaking of St Michael's Road and how difficult that was, might have been speaking too soon. It never looks that bad on the camera. Hi, so you join me in Dawlish with the change in weather now and also having less light in the evening. I'm definitely finding motivation a little bit harder, so this is going to be the sort of ride that I would do maybe in the winter rather than head towards like the big name places and try and find lots of big highlights. Instead, I'm going to keep it quite local, try and find slightly different ways of going through the same old places, and just try and keep it fun really. So we're starting out in Dawlish. We're going to head up towards Mamhead to start with, go through some of the lanes there. We're going to take a look at some villages called Oxton and Lyson, and then we'll go through Exminster, and I think the furthest we'll go is Alphington. We'll come back through Exminster again and then through the nature reserve for a little bit of off-road. So let's see how it goes today. There's a good few little climbs and then descents here. It's like a little roller coaster of a country lane, and at the end we'll be by the Black Forest. So this is the Black Forest. Just a very quick descent down to the bottom here. So I used to walk my dog in this little area, and one time I remember I was approaching this gate here, and there was a guy like stood quite close to the gate, and when he saw me coming he kind of walked up and then put his arms on this bit here like he was trying to block me, and I'd already realised what he was doing. His wife was in the bushes over here using the toilet, let's say, so he made his best effort to stop me and protect her dignity, I guess, but I was stood here, I could see her like right over here, like fully bent down. So when they both left, she might have said, "Do you think that guy saw me?" And he said, "Oh no, don't worry, I blocked him, he didn't have a clue." It wasn't the case, but that's how these things go. And I guess as cyclists, many of us that spend maybe more than 2 or 3 hours on the bike know you've got to go somewhere right, so she was making an effort to hide behind the bushes at least. Alright, so straight on, which leads us into Exminster. We will come back this way and go that way, so this way is going to take us to Oxton and Lyson. So with the change in weather and having less light nowadays, it is hard to be motivated to get out on your bike, especially when you can't always find the time to do it when it's nice. So one tip I've got, and this is what I did last year that really helped me to stay motivated throughout the autumn and the winter, is just try and pick a place that you haven't been to, even if it's like a single little road, a little lane, a little bit of off-road somewhere. You can do this on Strava actually. If you've got the pro subscription of Strava, it'll actually show like a golden line on the map, which is where like all the places you've been. So you can see where you've been, where you haven't been. And that's exactly what I did to actually find Oxton and Lyson, where we're going through now. I was on the hunt for an off-road trail last year that led me up towards Heldon. Not only does Strava show you your own heat map, but it all shows the global one. I think the global one is free as well, so have a look at that and you can see where all the main places where people go, but then you also get the very thin, faint lines where maybe it's just individuals or, you know, tens of people doing a similar route. And one of those routes led me through Oxton and Lyson to try and find an off-road route up to Heldon. I tried my best, and I'm sure I could have done it if I'd have been a bit cheeky, but for me it seemed as though the two different routes I tried were going through private property. So whether the people that were doing it were going through private property cheekily, or whether the private property has kind of overtaken some of the paths that should still be available and people have closed them off, who knows. So I did eventually find the way up there. I forget the name of that road, I will put it on the screen. For a gravel bike, it definitely wasn't the right road to be on to get up to Heldon. Yeah, there's a couple of ways like that I tried and neither of them really suited me. Alright, back to this crossroads. Straight on is Kenton. We're going to go to Exminster next. So last time I came this way was actually my first time. I carried on straight up the road there, but there was a lot of roadworks, quite a big hill, well not much, but I felt pressured by the traffic. I was blocking them because there's only one lane. So my goal today is to find a nicer way over there. I guess this is where it starts to get off-road. All right. Speaking of St Michael's Road and how difficult that was. Might have been speaking too soon. It never looks that bad on the camera. Hardest part was getting going. Let's give it a go now. It's not so much the ascent, it's just how messy the floor is, lots of loose rocks. Okay, that wasn't actually that bad. It wasn't that steep, but just lots of debris and broken up road where it's obviously been like tarmacked tens and tens of years ago. since broken up and kind of got little ravines in it for the water to run down. So it seems now as though I can cut through here. It's a public bridleway, so I'm allowed to ride my bike this way. Given that I'm talking a lot about St Michael's, I think it's St Michael's Lane, and there is another one that runs parallel, like one field over. And I'll have to go that way soon and show it in a video. Rather than go up that way, I'll come down. I say that thinking it's easier, but there's a lot of big rocks up there. Yeah, hold me to it, mention it in the comments. Subscribe, maybe you'll see that one day. I think the limits of the gravel bike are pretty obvious when you do a section like that. Like my front wheel kept lifting up, which you obviously need it to be able to be very precise in your control of the bike. You know, when you're dealing with difficult terrain that's got little sort of ravines in it that you don't want to drop into. I'm blaming my bike. Okay, and that's the lane that I wanted to get to ahead, Bay Pottles Lane. Bit of a busy road to cross, but then this will get us back into Exminster. It is only a footpath, so I shouldn't really be on my bike here, but there's plenty of visibility. So let's see, can I actually get all the way through with my bike? So this is where we're aiming for, the Turf Hotel. So does that mean straight through the middle, through the cows? I think I'm going to go this way and then hopefully go around the edge of the cows. Alright, I can see a bull and he's looking at me already. There is a gate over there, so whether I've come the right way or not, I can jump the gate at least. But I am going to have to pass quite close to the cows. I think if that big bull over there wasn't quite as lazy, he watched me the whole way around until he couldn't turn his head anymore. If he turns this way, he'll be able to see me again though. I can see a young one in the middle. Okay, are they running away or they're running towards me? They did come towards me and then sort of circle behind me. The gate's in front of me now though, so this must obviously be the path. I just hadn't considered that there might be cows and a couple of bulls in here. I guess that's what I get for going on a footpath on a bike. Alright, I'm glad to be out of there. Alright, so I'm just coming back into Dawlish now, and really good route that one, a little bit different like I said at the beginning, not necessarily going towards any big name towns or anything like that, just staying in the local area and going on some routes that maybe I'm not quite as familiar with or I don't do as often, and I think it really helps to freshen up the ride. So if you're feeling like you haven't got the motivation yourself, maybe you can take my little tip. Have a look on the map and just pick somewhere where you haven't been before. Even if it's just like one lane off of your normal route, go have a look and explore. And especially for gravel bikes in the UK, like sometimes it's hard to find these big long routes, but oftentimes it's a case of joining them up. So if you can find a little route that then joins onto another route, it really helps to kind of put these off-road routes together. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.